2022 was a tough year for startups, at least compared to what we saw in 2021. What is your forecast for 2023? I mean, of course, we hope to see some push from the government in the budget and outside of the budget as well. But what is your forecast for 2023?
Now, in terms of what more can we do to kind of fuel these startup funding, and which have been handicapped to some extent, right, because of the reduction in global flow of capital. There's a lot of uncertainty globally and in the US stock market for sure, and hedge funds have pulled back quite a bit. So I think the fund of fund announcements in the last budget of the 10,000 crores, I think if we can operationalize that quickly for emerging sectors. What you don't want is that the new innovative sectors don't get funded, whether it's emerging deep tech sectors, space tech, climate tech, health, pharma. So you want to see some of the activity in the early stage. While there will be support, there is enough dry powder in the ecosystem. So the good news is, even from the private funds, the existing private funds that have raised large amounts of money, there will be enough activity in the ecosystem. But I think these enabling these blended fund of funds that were announced for emerging sectors quickly, and I think one of them, the Agri-Tech Fund through NABARD, is in the last stages. We're hoping that will get launched. I've been working with NABARD and the Agri Department closely, the Agri Secretary, through IVCA. But many of these other funds needs to be operationalized and need to get off the ground to support both domestic venture funds. Going back to your earlier point, what can we do to support domestic venture funds? I think it is we just have now the SIDBI fund of fund scheme, right? So by having these multiple blended fund of funds enabled, we can augment the capital that is going into the AIFs and the domestic pools of capital, in addition to the dry powder that there is. So I think this largely takes care of the early to even maybe a series up to a series B type of investment environment in the country. But I think later stage will be slightly muted. I think the global, there are not that many, but there is one good trend that we are seeing, and we saw a little bit of that this year. The domestic PE funds who had stayed away from investing in the tech-related startups and who were on the sidelines when a lot of the global hedge funds were very active in India, and they believed the valuations did not justify them to look at it. I think they are starting to enter the market. So the domestic PE funds, I'm hoping, would recognize that in the current environment, with hopefully better valuations and with the startups more focused on profitability, even before they can tap the IPO markets, you will see more activity with the PE. So more dry powder starting to get deployed this year in the early stages, more fund of fund enablement to fuel domestic AIFs, and third, PE investors hopefully participating more in the later stage rounds, and as a whole making up for the global possibility of funds and the hedge funds kind of retreating a bit.